And we are live. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome. My name is Lonnie Walker. I am the founder and CEO of Joy Baltimore, which is a nonprofit here in Baltimore, Maryland. Joy is an acronym that stands for Just Our Youth. And so now I'm going into this next level, next stage of life. Excuse me, we created a podcast. And so the title of this podcast is all about you apostrophe TH. It's all about you, and then we want to know what your connection is with youth and why you work with youth. Well, but most of the time, when we talk to people in the connection to their work, we want to know what they do, so forth and so on. This show is going to be about them. Who are you? What motivates you? What do you like to do for fun? It's a very chill and relaxed show. We have a nice little setup. Just get to know the person behind that nonprofit or that grassroots organization and why they chose to work with you. You'll be able to ask questions. You may want to donate to one of your favorite organizations that you'll see throughout these episodes. And it's just an array of people throughout the whole city of Baltimore. We're going to have a good time. There may be some international people. We are adults. It will be an evening show. So you may see some drinks every now and again. Let me just coffee on that. The goal is for us all to have a good time together. Me get to know you, you get to know me, you get to know my guests, and it's more about who we are as people. And yeah, just ask any questions you want to ask. This is a adult show. We want to be comfortable with the people. We want the people to know that we are human just like you are. We are going to make mistakes. It may be some blurps every now and again because we are adults. It's all about you. If you feel you might want to be a guest on the show, reach out to us. I don't know, but what else do you guys want to know? The artwork and our backdrop was done by Baltimore's own Davon Carey, who did the artwork and the backdrop for It's All About You. We're here in Baltimore, Maryland. We'll be going live um, once a week on Fridays at that. On Fridays, we're going to have some exciting guests, fashion designers, school teachers, marching band leaders, CEOs, directors of organizations for the city, for the state. We're going to have an amazing amount of people that are already lined up to be a part of this awesome podcast. We are about to get it in. Once again, it's an evening show. It's all about you, the adult, and the youth you work with. Can you tell us a little bit about Joy Baltimore? So Joy Baltimore is my passion. It's my baby. This is our 10th year in operation. We are a drop-in center for runaway homeless and displaced youth, focusing on the LGBTQIA community, but we serve all youth between the excuse me, between the ages of 0 to 24. But we turn nobody away. We turn no one away at all. We help with birth certificates, a security card, Maryland State ID. If anybody 18 to 24 or older or need access to housing, we can help you navigate through housing. We have 2 mentorship programs. One is called Black Men United. The other one is called Black Women United. They are 12-week programs. We take you through a rigorous course. They're going to be live very soon. And you'll see some people from my board talking about those things and some alumni from the programs. Those things of that nature. We have a Thanksgiving event that happens every year on Thanksgiving Day. It's called Oh Give Thanks. This is our 10th year that when we doing it. We feed the homeless, we feed anybody and everybody throughout the city who may need something to eat, who wants something to eat. It's just family style. We have a good time. We have a Christmas event that happens every year. That's called Miracle at Lexington Market. Down at the market. Oh, we come on out. Everything that we do at Joy Baltimore outside of fundraising is free. That's what we do at Joy Baltimore. Then we have me, myself, Lonnie Walker, LLC. I do public speaking. I come out and I host events. I'm just walking into my natural self right now. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. And it's all about you. It's all about you. You and me some people from my past, my fifth grade teacher. Yeah. Hold on one second.
So, in terms of the conversations that we'll be having on the platform, what are some topics right now that connect to the Joy Baltimore mission or things that may be affecting people that are served by Joy Baltimore?
We're gonna have all of those kind of conversations. Topics are gonna be around, the current administration right now, LGBTQIA, racial equity, voting. Why does our country look the way it looks? So there's going to be various topics: sex, marijuana, HIV, any and everything you can possibly think of. We will touch on. Like I said, we are adults. This will be an adult podcast talking about adult stuff. The parents that we work with, how can we show up and help them? We'll be all in it together.
So in the last couple of days, Trump has signed an executive order trying to dismantle the federal educational board or department. That can potentially, if it's passed by our legislative branch and not blocked by our judiciary branch, could affect the very young people that you serve. What, if anything, do you feel about that, or think about or how are you preparing at Joy Baltimore for the worst case scenario?
I don't believe in preparing, because if you're already ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I do not believe in preparing. Always be ready. Every day is a tragedy. Especially when you work with young people and you hear some of the stories, so forth and so on. So like the pandemic, we're ready day one. We never shut down. We kept on doing the work. Because we have some essential needs that people need. And so when you are that type of an organization or that type of an agency, you don't shut down. You're a frontline worker. It's going to affect the very people who elected him. Mm-hmm. More than those who didn't. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. We've been the worst. One of my senior friends said to me that she had gotten through so many things, from the hoses to the dogs. I mean, she was just making a list, and as she said that, and she said, "I'm not concerned." He said, "Because if I live through all of that, I'll live through this too."
But how can we reassure our young people who have not, and many of them, because of how the school system has become, they're not necessarily getting the history. So many of them are they're not saying it out loud, but I'm sure a lot of them are thinking, how does this affect me? Are they going to kick us out of schools? Like, how do you prepare or reach out to your youth?
You don't prepare them. Some things you just can't prepare for. Especially when you don't know what's going on in the home, and the school is a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know how to prepare for it, and I can't be more cut forward than that. it's like being on an airplane and, your flight attendant get all that training and so forth and so on.
Mhm.
But lo and behold, when that plane is going down, their life is just as much as in jeopardy as yours.
Right.
So then you're doing the best you can. You're doing the best you can with what you were given, but are we really prepared? It's just going to happen the way it's going to happen, and let the chips fall where they may. But at the end of the day, we roll up our sleeves and strap on our boots, and we go ahead and we do the work. We do the work.
So, and I'm sure you realize like a lot of stuff in their preparation, meaning the school system, funders, grantees, and such, they are already bracing for the impact. So a lot of summer programs have been cut. A lot of programming currently in the school system at the end of this last half of the school year is being cut or they pulled back or limited. Um, how can programs like Joy Baltimore, you know, support that without, replacing it necessarily, but how can they support it?
Well, the goal is always to support and not replace. There's just too many services within the city, and no one has to replace anybody. But we started out with nothing, and we may end with nothing. So at the end of the day, we find ways. We find ways. We welcome all young people across the city to access who we are, what we do, even the parents. Because I promise you, if I don't have that resource, I know somebody that do. I'm gonna make sure you get what you need. That that is the end game. Is making sure that everybody gets what they need. Excuse me 1 second, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we want to make sure everyone gets what they need. That is the name of the game. That is making sure that all of us are living a healthy, stress-free life.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the guests, like your first two guests, can you briefly speak on them and why you chose them as the first two guests?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It was really no rhyme or reason. My first guest is Stephen White of A Different Regard. And how do I know Mr. White of A Different Regard? They're they're my designers, Dominic and Stephen, who owns A Different Regard. They are local Baltimore designers who have a shop and one in the airport, one here downtown in Baltimore, and they have a studio.
Mhm.
And they also work with young people. So that is the connection to why that was one of the connections to why I chose them also, which most people don't know. They have some apprenticeship programs
Okay.
and mentorship programs where they go into some of the schools. And they work with young people independently with doing it, developing their websites and stuff like that. And so just to see that, I was like, wow. And it's just two brothers here in the city. So the goal is to introduce you to people like that who nobody don't know. Those unsung heroes.
Mhm.
Those unsung heroes that are just doing the work and nobody knows. And then my next guest, who's coming on after that, is the amazing Dawn Harrell. She is the fashion director for the Baltimore Design School. She is a stylist. She is a diva. Um, I met Dawn through Stephen. Just a very small world of how you meet people and the connections and how it just blends into what you do. And so Dawn is the director of the fashion department at the Baltimore Design School. And so every year they have a end of the school year showcase. And where the students have a fashion show every year. I think now for the last 5 years, I've actually been the host of their show. With them asking me to come back every year, it's just been a blessing because you just don't know the lives of the young people that you're touching just a little bit, just a little bit. And so those are my first two guests, and so it's going to be guests from that side of the track to activists on this side of the track to people in the middle to people in the back It's just good. And I want everyone to come on the show and be themselves. Um, we will have some wine or whatever that spirit is of the day that guest may like. Each guest will leave here with a prize pack. And there will be raffles for the viewers to win stuff. Because we love to give away stuff. We love to give away stuff. So there'll be lots of opportunities for guests and viewers to win things here on It's All About Youth. And I just look forward to just talking to everyone, just revealing more and more about Lonnie Walker and Joy Baltimore, and getting to know the guests that's going to be on this show, getting to know the guests, and after getting to know the guests, finding out why they do what they do. Um, yeah, my pillows will change out every now and again. For those who don't know, I love Whitney Houston, so we have homage to Whitney right here. Then on this end, this is my family, my mom, my brothers. So yeah, my pillows will change every now and again. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be so much fun. If you have any questions for me, please ask.
Um, so we're opening it up for conversation. So you can definitely, if you're tuning in live, you can definitely leave your comments now, as well as if you're watching the show after, definitely put your comments in the section, and we'll do our best to respond in a timely manner. In terms of the the platform of this show is Joy Baltimore. Can you remind us again of your mission?
Our mission at Joy Baltimore is to one day end youth homelessness. That is the main mission for me. For me, with my borderline line is to end youth homelessness. And what does that look like? And that means across the board, because if our youth both become homeless, then they become our adults who are now homeless. And so we have to be mindful of our young people who are aging out of our foster care system. And where do they go? And so if there's no plan in place before they're getting out, they're going to become our homeless. And so now they become our young adult homeless until the age of 25, they become an adult homeless person. And what people don't realize is if you're under the age of 18, you cannot access the shelter system in any city because you are considered still a minor under the age of 18. And at 18, yes, you may be able to access the shelters, but how many 18 to 24-year-olds do you know go into our shelters on any given day? So that is our main goal, is to mainly end youth homelessness. And what does that look like? We can figure it out together.
Aging out isn't something that is new. It's happened since, I guess, the beginning. Because at a certain age, they consider them adults, and they can no longer benefit directly from foster care or sometimes adoption. Can you explain to us what happens to you once they age out?
If they have not followed the protocol of their social worker throughout their time being in care, they can potentially age out to homelessness. And what tends to happen most of the time is our young people come into care, excuse me, and they come into care with so much anger and aggression and so forth and so on, where they don't want to listen or follow any rules or anybody who's talking to them. It takes a lot to get through, to get one out of 100 to probably open up and do the right thing. And so normally what happens is, they're in the program or they're in the system from 18 to or 16 or 14 to 21. And on their 20th birthday is when it clicks in that child's head, and 6 months before they get ready to age out, it clicks. Damn, I need to get my shit together because where am I going after I turned 21? And at 11:59 on that 21st birthday, state of Maryland says you are no longer under our care. And so if there's no plan in place or you have not done things you should have done via your social worker between the ages of 18 to 21 to get on that track. And I know that the system has a program for Ready by 21, but it just goes back to show that, a lot of the trauma that our children who are coming into the system are coming with, they're not even focusing or even thinking about that program. So they get to that age of 20 and getting ready to turn 21 where it clicks. And by then it's too late. So we have to figure out a plan or a way to instill that in them while addressing the trauma.
I would say, I know programs like yours try to be the transition, but why hasn't there been a transition program? It amazes me, even when parents kick their children out at 18, like they were just 17 yesterday, and now today they're 18. Nothing has changed in that child other than the year or the age, rather. So why isn't there more transitional state funded or programs out of that, unlike yours?
So ironically, I've seen parents kick their kids out on their 18th birthday. And it was a friend of mine who invited me to her job at the Weinberg shelter downtown. And I'm there and I'm just hanging out with her, seeing the clients that's coming in, so forth and so on. And a mother brought her son into the shelter with his cap and gown. And so he's 18 today. Y'all can have him. I was dumbfounded. I had never, you hear the stories, but until you see it yourself, I had never seen something like that in my life. So that was, yeah. Me being from New York, moving here to Baltimore, baby, Baltimore is a different beast.
Yeah. Because there you have more families that traditionally you may see the adult children still staying at home and not necessarily being kicked out. But yet, cities like Baltimore, you see that more and more with their young people. And I, as an educator, these young people are different and they're more defiant and they're more strong-willed than I've ever seen, or I knew I was, or my generation. And I'm sure you can say the same thing about yours. But it started somewhere, and it was never addressed, and it was never taken care of, and now this is the result. And then they're expected as newly adults to now have it all and get it and know what to do with the nothingness that they prepared for.
I've been in Baltimore for, I want to say, maybe 23 or 24 years now. And ironically, I've worked with the youth systems since I've been here. Therapeutic foster care for over 20. The group home systems here in Baltimore, the foster care systems, shelter systems. I had never seen the amount of kids that I've seen in the group homes in my life, and me being from New York. Because where I'm from, we took care of kids. My mother took care of the cousins, and the cousins' mothers took care of us. So coming to Baltimore and seeing that, it was a shock to me because we took care of family. And I'm that guy, when I would work in the houses with the kids, I wanted to know their stories. Like, why are you here? I don't care what a book says. I'm not judging you based on what a book says or what the staff says. You won't tell me who you are. And there were kids that were just in these group homes that were in there because of their parents' bullshit. Nothing to do with them. Nothing. And I was like, what the hell is going on in this city? And I was in Baltimore County at that time. So it was just one area in the county on a rolling road. Every house back there had a group home in it. It was right. It also, I mean, yeah, I was just like dumbfounded on the number of young people that were not with their families when I moved to Baltimore.
The businesses that have sprouted because of that need is often astounding, and it's normally hidden in your neighborhood. There may be one or two, like you said, one or two houses in these residential areas that you don't even realize are being housed by youth that have aged out of systems.
The millions and millions and millions of dollars most private sector industry people have made off of the backs of young people is insane. And we're still seeing the same things today, if not worse.
Mm.
When will it change, or do we want it to change? That becomes
a solution.
That becomes the question. Is there a one fixed solution? No, there's not a one fixed solution.
Mhm.
But what I can say is, because I am a Joy Baltimore as a BCYF grantee, and being one of the BCYF grantees, where they have been teaching us a lot of how to sustain your organization, so forth and so on. And so we went on a educational oh my god, work conference, um, and it was just what I say amazing, because the things we're learning about other cities and what they're doing, like New Orleans has what they call a youth master plan. And when I think about things that nature and what it looks like, is we need to bring all people to the table, whether we like them or not, whether they're doing good, bad, indifferent, it doesn't rich, poor, so forth and so on. And ask everybody in the room what is their need. And compile those needs together and then come up with a master plan.
What in terms of it being so many programs and yours, I don't want to say that's the only thing you specify is LGBTQ youth, but there's so many programs. I think for parents, for the school system, for just the general public to figure out where to send a kid or place a kid rather, it's overwhelming. So how can these programs begin to work together? Like on here, you're meeting with the various people who proctor these programs, but that does not typically happen within the system because everybody want their own group, their own thing, but they're not working together to, I don't see a solution to the problem. I don't see a place where it's just going to keep going on and on. They're almost multiplying at this point, but how do we?
So I'm glad I was asked that, because for me, collaboration is very important to me.
Mhm.
It is super important to me because, like I said, we can't do the work by ourselves. And so, with me being the age of 53, so to be 54, I'm actually looking to my younger EDs across the city, so forth and so on. And I'm reaching out to them like, look, I want to be in the background. I can't do this work forever. I need this torch to be passed.
Mhm.
Y'all can call me the OG, whatever you want to call me. I just know that you young men can get it done.
Mhm.
And it has to start now. And and us older people have to stop being afraid to let go. Let it go. The time has come. The time is coming gone. The time is coming gone. And for us younger people for us older people who are young but got in at a young age, you've done your damage. Move on. Let it go. Get out the way. Allow the new generation to do what they're going to do.
Mhm.
Let them do what we did, what we wanted to do. Let them do what they want to do, because I promise you, they got more than we would have ever gotten. And they're using it. They just to get out their way. Like we ask funders to get out our way, not putting rules on the money, and get out our way. Get out their way. Let them do what we couldn't finish. Let them get it done.
That is a powerful solution. But how to get to that solution from where we are right now is going to take a strategy that may be different for each organization. But what I'm noticing amongst nonprofit arts, educational, specific wraparound service programming is that's an issue. But also, you're having these people who have made it a company versus an organization. That's a big difference when it comes to serving and self-serving, and making profits and building your resume and getting in front of the camera every chance you get, uh, for your purpose and not and forgetting about why we're here. I think that's an ongoing issue, but it's for me, it's creating that strategy between where we are and what you just said. Who's next and what's next, and not really who next, but what's next, and who will lead that charge, and who will be the support team that around that. What do you see the future of Roy Baltimore without you at the day to day helm? What would that look like in terms of
So,
your transition?
so one thing you said that that stuck out for me was oh god, it just looks different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do know is in my transition, or when I decide to transition, or if you know when it's your time.
Mm,
You know when it's your time. When you know you need to bring in new leadership to move it to that next stage or to take it to that next level. Um, for Joy Baltimore, I've always tried to empower other people. And so in that empowering other people, that kept me down here. I had not been able to grow it the way I should have been growing it. And now in our 10th year in taking on a new board, and I appreciate everybody that has come through Joy Baltimore and who have volunteered, worked, got paid, so forth and so on. But I know what I did was handicap the organization.
mm, yeah,
In doing that. And most grassroots programs or organizations do that.
yeah,
Because you want to help everybody. You want to bless everybody. And you're out here blessing everybody, but ain't nobody blessing you. No one's pouring back into the organization,
mm-hmm,
but you still doing what you got. And it's almost like you're still back at year one. You're still back at year one after 9 or 10 years. But you do what you do because you do what you do because you love it.
yeah,
Until you get them strong black women behind you and they go, "Whoosh, this is what we get ready to do new." And so,
and the transition of that is harsh on the platform or the mission because now people are just trying to manage it versus solve problems and reach the community.
and I'm that guy. You can put a whip on, but that whip ain't gonna get but so far because I'm still going to be Lonnie. I'm
Right.
still going to be Lonnie, and the wholesome of the organization is always going to exist. Because yes, we need to raise money. Yes, we need to make money, but people come first. At the end of the day, all day, people come first, and those who know me know. I won't even go into a restaurant and not expect to have high service because I'm spending my money.
Yeah.
And so if I'm going to hold people where I'm spending my money accountable, I'm definitely going to make sure the people that I'm servicing going to hold me accountable. So if ands or buts about it. Um, and you're not going to please everybody. I promise you. I've been there, done that. At the end of the day, God bless.
Mhm.
And I'm still here to help if you ever need help again from me. I'm still here.
Mm.
At that time, I probably wasn't able to help you, but we're still here.
One of the things that I discovered years ago as an educator is Baltimore is the headquarters of I want to say the world because it feels that way of nonprofits, and it's so easy to start one now, but how can you speak to those people, especially the ones who are in the service spaces that you're in, how important it is to focus on your mission? And I only say that because right now, with this whole DEI thing up in the air, you have a lot of organizations that are going against their mission simply because they don't want to speak out. So how do we navigate that? I know I'm throwing you under the bus a lot, but
this is funny because now I sound like Eddie Murphy. But anyway, I love questions like that. So that was one of the main reasons why I decided to do this platform. Because I talk about collaboration. Because over the years, I reached out to multiple organizations to do things where it's like the door gets slammed, but then you go somewhere and everybody knows who you are, everybody's dapping you up, so forth and so on. And I just asked them to do something last week. They said no. I'm like, what is really going on here? But so this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this platform, because I wanted to give viewers an opportunity to see the number of nonprofits that are out there. That's one, and what they do, because you might want to get connected to them.
Yeah.
You can't connect to what you don't know. And I've said for a long time, even to funders, there needs to be something in an RFP where organizations that are funded together must collaborate. Must
I
collaborate.
see that and being put into a lot of arts funding now. It has to be a collaboration.
Yes. I mean, if we're funding you for the year, at least every quarter we should be able to see something from all our grantees as a collaboration, because we can reach excuse me, so many more kids or young people and families if we work together collectively. Because if we're youth servicing organizations, at the end of the day, we all have one mission, and that's to serve young people. That is to serve young people. And are we going to always agree? No. But who's going to be the deciding factor of what any of our work look like? The young people. They're we don't know. They don't need us. We need them. We
That's the
need
mission.
them.
The person you serve and not payroll.
Right. So what you don't realize is they don't come to your program. Yeah, we don't got no funding, but who do you serve? Who do you serve? What is your impact? What is your impact? If you left this world tomorrow, what will they say about you?
And I think community, like people outside of the sector, often get that confused because the balance is we do have funders, we do have donors that we have to make sure their needs are being met without erasing our mission. But that's why we shouldn't be going after money that does not align with our mission. Because then we're focusing too much on gathering data and not solving problems or even serving the day-to-day needs of the people that we are supposed to be with.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate tonight. And I think you already knew the answer to this, but at the end of the day, we will never forget who we are, where we come from. Never, never. And this just came to me because I'm a part of a board here in the city, and this just came up where we had to remove something and replace it with just the same thing, which you reworded, in order to continue servicing people in the city. Because sometimes, not often, we know who we are, we know what we do. Do it need to be in writing? Because from what I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, when they was running away from them plantations, it wasn't in writing. It wasn't in writing. So just because I take it out Don't mean I don't still do it. We are, I would hope, and pray that we are smarter than that. I would hope and pray that if you feel, oh, well, if it ain't right, if it ain't in writing, we ain't do it. We are living in a times. We are living in a times. Go back to yesterday to correct tomorrow. Go back to yesterday to correct tomorrow. No, I ain't picking no cotton. No, I ain't gonna be no house Negro. I think we brought a lot to this land. We learned a lot in this land. Use it.
Overall, with this platform, it's all about youth. Um, who are you speaking to? I know you're bringing on guests from various organizations and platforms, but the person on the other side of that camera, what do you want to say to them? Who are they?
Um, all of you on the other side of this camera, you're everyday people, just like we are. I just want you to know that, though we may look different, we are way much more alike than we are different. Um, and I want to share that and express that with the guests, with the viewers. Um, None of us are celebrities. I don't even like to be recognized when I'm out. I'm more of a house body unless I got to go to a function. I stopped kind of posting on social media because of the backlash, and so I really want people to know that those who run grassroots organizations are human just like you are. You make mistakes. You know, people are looking for us to fail for whatever odd reason it may be. But at the end of the day, people that you're going to see what it's all about you are authentic, they are genuine. And for those who know me, I do not align myself. Yeah, been there, done that. Been there, done that. I've had my share of yeah. As this podcast go, you're gonna learn some interesting things about Lonnie Walker and Joy Baltimore. Um, Baltimore has not always been kind. But we're gonna talk about all of that. We're gonna talk about all that. Um, would I do it all over again? Yes. Yes. Because if I had to do it all over again, I'm going in knowing what I didn't know. So would it look different? Yeah, very different. Um, we're here to service one thing and one thing only: young people, families. We enjoy Baltimore want to be better than we could ever have been. That's the end all be all.
So, in closing, how can people support your mission? If it's those nonprofits that are mom and pop, how do they reach out to you? How do they connect with you to partner, to collaborate, to be showcased here on this platform?
So at the end of each show, you're going to see ways to be able to reach myself or the guest that's on the show. How to support any one of the organizations will be listed at the end of the show. If you want to be on the show, just reach out to us. We'll have all that information at the end of the show of how to contact anybody that's associated with the show, whether it be the producer, Mr. Nate Couser, the artist who did the artwork on our mural, Davon Carey, when they said to reach out to one of our guests. All that information will be provided. And if you would love to be a guest, we would love to have you on. to see what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how can we show up to support you, to let the city know. This is what we do. It's all about you.
So close out with your social media, your contact.
So you can find me on Instagram, my brother's keeper 1971, or Joy Baltimore. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn. Yeah, catch me on here. It's all about you. It's gonna be interesting. You can reach us at Lonnie at joybaltimore.org, or you can reach the organization at lwalker at joybaltimore.org. Our website, www.joybaltimore.org. Hey, just reach out. Just reach out. Enjoy the rest of your day, afternoon, evening. Have a drink on us. It's free.